A dance dedicated to the world's healthcare workers from the LA Dance Project, the company created by Frenchman Benjamin Millepied. Once star dancer and choreographer at the New York City Ballet, he broadened his fame when he choreographed and had a role in the 2010 film Black Swan, and then married his co-star, Natalie Portman. Benjamin Millepied, hello.
Hello.
How are you doing? Tell us where you are.
I'm in Los Angeles, which is where I live, where my dance company works as well.
And how are you filling your days? Are you doing homeschooling?
Well, yeah, there's obviously homeschooling. We have two children, and still, of course, a lot of work with the company as we have to really reinvent things, adapt now, and really think long run versus just I think being too optimistic, thinking that things are going to get back to normal anytime soon.
Tell us more about your video to the healthcare workers.
At the beginning, it seemed like a nice gesture that, it was also a way for me to get my dancers to come together and create something and see what that was like. The idea was to find the right tone and try to create something, as well produced as we could, all being in different places and having, iPhones. But I chose that piece by Hervé Pert, which I think is really sort of beautiful, simple, hopeful waltz. And just essentially asked my dancers to create variations on a theme that was choreographed by the first dancer in the video, was Rochelle Rafaelidis.
Here in Paris, we've been clapping the healthcare workers every evening at 8 p.m. on our balconies. Do you think the healthcare workers in the United States are getting enough recognition?
Well, it's funny, because this morning we have Eagle fighter jets flying over LA and the whole coast to celebrate the healthcare workers, except that it cost a fortune for these planes to fly. And it would be a much better use of money to get more masks and more PPP, loans than this. So no, I think, we're not celebrating the healthcare workers enough, and the country's reopening, and it's just really a gigantic mess over here is what it is.
Well, the United States is the country the worst hit by the coronavirus, with more than 80,000 deaths. How are you coping with the situation?
Well, with great difficulty. I think it makes things even more uncertain. There's such a lack of clarity in the message that the government is giving. We're in a moment where things need to be really carefully organized and a very clear message be given to people. And it's anything but. We're in in Los Angeles, not so far from Las Vegas, who's like reopening. We're in this sort of completely divided country, and Trump pushing for businesses to start. But I think it's not the way. I think we have to be so pragmatic, like understand the situation. There's just a complete lack of organization, and it reveals really a lot about America and what America, who America is today.
You were due to be in Paris this month with your dance company, the LA Dance Project, to perform Romeo and Juliet at La Scène Musicale. It was the world premiere. What's it like to work on something like that and then not being able to share it?
Well, it's La Scène Musicale, and it's it's a whole season in New York. It's premieres that we've been working on for months. It's a lot. You can't sit and just cry for the work that we've lost, although you sort of really have to start thinking about how do we move forward. How do I keep my employees employed? How do we continue to create? What's tomorrow like when this reopens? It's going to be a different world. So we've just really put our minds to how do we get to a worldwide audience? How do we create revenue? How do we perform for people that are not in the same room as us? And that's why we created this app that really is a platform for all dance lovers and students, and but really also a platform of expression for LA Dance Project, when we can get together in the studio, 5 or 6 of us, and create work, and if not perform it for an audience sitting in front of us, perform it for an audience around the world.
Let's take a look at a teaser for your new project.
Whether you are a student, an aspiring dancer, or just love the world of dance, this is the place for you.
And Benjamin, it is a complicated time for performers in all the arts. So how do you think this pandemic is going to affect dancers around the world?
There are countries where there's government support. Dancers will continue to be employed and get some form of salary and healthcare and all this. In America, a lot of people have to work to get their healthcare. So it's going to be particularly brutal here. We're seeing a lot of free content online, but people have to start making some money at some point. Again, I think it's a little bit. I think it's important to accept the situation and just sort of, take it frontally and try to make the best of it. I mean, I think like our platform already is enriching our lives with the amount of interesting contributors that we're having, the interviews I'm giving, the way we're thinking about creating. Something really interesting will come out of that. There's of course the pressure for the platform to make a considerable financial contribution to our revenue. I'm optimistic. I do think we are. This was we needed to reassess things a little bit, and people will rush back to theaters when this is completely over, and the communal experience and all those things.
And before this health crisis, government support for the arts was dwindling in the United States. Here in France, President Macron has announced measures to help the arts. Is there anything like that in the United States?
No, I think it's funny. We benefited from the paper protection program about 2 weeks ago, and it's the first time in America that I get support from the government for any artistic project that I've ever taken on. Arts is such an incredible asset for society, for people. Arts program for kids, those is something that makes society better. It makes it improves our lives. It gives a new set of opportunities to people, and I wish the government could support the arts here. But this is why I chose to live and build and actually make an impact in the city that I love and in a country that I love. We've always found a way, and we're going to continue.
And you're also directing your first film, Carmen, starring Jamie Dornan and Melissa Barrera. It's a reinterpretation of George Bizet's opera. Where are you with that project?
Shooting a movie is complicated, especially a movie like Carmen that had sort of large scenes and so forth. So when the insurance companies are willing to really insure these productions, which won't be for a while, the movie will not shoot. So when we're ready, when it's allowed, when it's safe, we'll go make the movie.
So do you think you'll be able to bring us Romeo and Juliet virtually?
Absolutely. I think we're planning to bring a lot virtually as soon as possible, and with really experiences of quality, and all of it through our $9.99 platform a month, which is $100 a year, €100 a year, which is nothing when you can have access to classes and knowledge and a lot of things that I think would be inspiring for anyone. But yeah, performance, experience, yes, for sure.
Well, Benjamin Millepied, thank you very much. Your Romeo and Juliet is actually due to be shown now at La Scène Musicale in Paris in January. We're going to end the show with a clip of that, a taster for people watching. Thanks for joining us, everyone. See you next time.